Imagine this. You are an engineer at, well, a mid-sized aerospace startup. You design this lightweight, highly durable plastic mounting bracket.
Right.
So you bolt it onto a commercial agricultural drone, pack it up, and ship it off to a client in Canada. But then, the next week, you wake up to a $10 million fine, a completely frozen international sales pipeline, and a federal indictment. And all of that over a piece of plastic.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like hyperbole, right? But in the world of international trade regulations, that is basically a Tuesday.
Exactly.
You didn't fail a wind tunnel test. You failed to understand the invisible regulatory minefield that's surrounding your technology.
So welcome back to the Controlled Delivery, where we turn dense defense regulations into operational leverage for your small business.
Glad to be here.
Today, we are bringing you a custom-tailored deep dive into what compliance officers call the $100 million classification trap.
It is a massive trap, yeah.
And our mission today is answering the ultimate high-stakes question for drone builders in the defense sector. Is your system an ITAR or an EAR item?
Which is a question you cannot afford to get wrong.
Because getting this wrong isn't just a paperwork error, It carries criminal penalties, millions in State Department fines, and a completely frozen international sales pipeline.
Right, and for this deep dive, we are pulling from a really dense stack of foundational sources.
We've got Title 15 and Title 22 of the Code of Federal Regulations.
Yep, plus the official user guides published by the Directorate of Defense Trade Controls.
And a few legal primers on this terrifying regulatory concept known as the see-through rule. We'll get into that later.
Oh, that one catches everyone.
But first, we are talking directly to you today. Because whether you are a CEO, an engineer, or, a supply chain manager, the government views export violations as a fundamental breach of national security.
They really do. You can't just fix it with a revised invoice.
So to avoid walking into this trap, we first have to map the battlefield, right? We need to find the bright line between these two massive, often confusing regulatory regimes.
Yeah, the best way to understand this jurisdictional tug-of-war is to look at the two distinct departments running the show.
Right.
On one side, you have the State Department, specifically their Directorate of Defense Trade Controls, the DDTC.
And they run ITAR.
Exactly, the International Traffic in Arms Regulations.
Oh.
And ITAR is, well, it's unapologetic. Its sole purpose is to control inherently military items.
Things designed to kill, defend, or support combat.
Right. And on the other side, you've got the Commerce Department, specifically their Bureau of Industry and Security, the BIS.
And the EAR, right? The Export Administration Regulation.
You got it. And the EAR handled what we call dual-use items. So these are commercial commodities that, in the wrong hands, could be used militarily.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because if I'm a drone manufacturer, it's like I'm looking at two different border checkpoints, right?
That's a good way to put it.
One is a strict military checkpoint looking for weapons, which is ITAR. And the other is a commercial checkpoint inspecting high-end photography drones, which is the EER.
Exactly. But you have to follow what is legally called the order of review.
Right, it's a strict sequence.
Right. You cannot even look at the Commerce Department's commercial list until you have definitively proven that your item does not belong to the State Department's ITAR list.
They assume it's a weapon until you prove otherwise.
Basically, yeah.
So if I have to check ITAR first, I need to know what they're looking for. The ITAR list is the U.S. Munitions List, the USML.
Yep, the USML.
And looking at the sources for Category 8, which covers uncrewed aerial vehicles, it depends entirely on design intent and technical capabilities.
Right. Category 8, specifically subsection 5, explicitly controls UAVs specially designed to incorporate a defense article.
There's also a 7 for military reconnaissance, right?
Yeah, and a 16 for armed drones. Basically, if your drone features military hardpoints, specialized encrypted comms, or like an ITAR-controlled sensor, you cannot export a single molt without a DDTC license.
Okay, but what if you build commercial mapping drones and a foreign border patrol wants to buy them?
Well, if it doesn't meet those strict military thresholds of Category 8, it falls to the Commerce Control List, the CCL.
Under the EAR.
Exactly. And the EAR controls high-performance drones under specific ECCNs.
Export Control Classification numbers.
Right. There's the 600 series, specifically ECCN 9A610, for military aircraft parts transitioned off the USML.
And ECCN 9A012, right, for non-military UAVs.
Yeah, that one catches commercial drones with advanced capabilities like a 300-kilometer range or a 30-minute endurance in high winds.
But what if my drone doesn't meet those ECCN criteria either? Does it drop down to EAR 99? Because that's basically unregulated, right?
Well, if you are selling to a foreign defense force, your system is almost never going to drop to EIR 99 status. The end user dictates the risk there.
Wow, okay. So now that we know the two regimes, how does a specific drone component, like that plastic bracket I mentioned, actually get flagged for the strict ITAR checkpoint?
That brings us to the complex web of the specially designed rule.
Which is ITAR section 120.41 and EAR part 772.
Exactly. If a drone is modified for a military application, it's specially designed and lands on the USML.
So if I drill 2 extra holes in a commercial bracket just so it fits a military drone, it's a munition.
Yes. The intent was for a military application, so it's specially designed.
That is so restrictive. Are there any escapes?
There are regulatory releases. The B3 release is for dual-use items. If a part has the exact same function, performance, and equivalent form and fit as a commercial commodity currently in production, it's released from ITAR.
Okay, that makes sense for existing parts. But the sources also mentioned the B4 release, which relies on intent during development.
Yeah, if it was developed with the knowledge that it would be used for both military and civil applications, it escapes ITAR.
So what does this all mean for a small contractor? If I'm designing a new drone bracket today, how on earth do I prove to the government years later that I intended it for commercial use?
You can't just invent it later.
Do I just pinky promise the federal agent?
A pinky promise is just a confession with a smile. Intent is proven through contemporaneous documentation.
Meaning documents from the time it was designed.
Exactly. To use the B4 release, you must have documents created at the time of development, like R&D kickoff presentations, marketing plans, or patent declarations.
Proving you intended a dual market from day one.
Without that paper trail, the government assumes it was specially designed solely for the military.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Even if you perfectly document your drone's commercial design intent, there is a massive hidden trapdoor.
Oh, the payload trap.
Yeah, it catches small contractors the moment they start attaching accessories. It's like food coloring.
Food color.
Yeah, think about it. You build a perfectly compliant dual-use ECCN 9A01 drone. But the moment you integrate an ITAR-controlled thermal camera, it's like dropping red food coloring into a glass of water.
Ah, I see what you mean.
Just one ITAR sensor tints the whole commercial drone ITAR color. You can't just unmix it.
What's fascinating here is that this is formally known as the ITAR see-through rule, or the integration of controlled items concept, stemming from 22 CFR section 120.6.
So by bolting on one restricted camera, my entire commercial drone just became a defense article.
Exactly. If a U.S. company integrates an ITAR-controlled guidance module, military hardpoints, or specialized encrypted comms into a commercial drone, the entire system is pulled into ITAR jurisdiction.
The government literally sees through the commercial shell to the controlled component.
The foundational rule is once a defense article, always a defense article. Ignorance of your subcomponents is not a legal defense.
So if a company is waiting on a determination to clear up a gray area, what do? You can't afford to guess.
You need a lifeline, and that lifeline is the Commodity Jurisdiction Request, or CJ.
How does that work? You submit a form DS4076, right?
Right, through the DDTC's online DECCS portal, and you don't even need to be registered with the DDTC to file one.
And the sources note that Block 12 of the form requires you to explicitly explain why you couldn't self-determine the classification.
Yeah, you have to show your work, and an executive summary cover letter is mandatory.
But filing a CJ takes time. If a company is fairly confident their drone is ER, can they just go ahead and ship it anyway while they wait?
This raises an important question. The sources do say commodities may technically be exported concurrent with the CJ submission,
But
but the government strongly encourages treating the export as subject to ITAR and obtaining licenses prior to export.
because if you guess wrong,
Shipping early risks severe export violations. If the DDTC ultimately decides the item is ITAR, you could face criminal charges.
relying on a CJ means you've probably already failed internally. Which brings us to the 3 pillars of import compliance risk management mentioned in the sources.
Right, which apply perfectly to export controls too.
Pillar 1 is establishing a trade compliance team, cross-functional accountability.
Pillar 2 is writing an import compliance manual, documented policies.
And Pillar 3 is conducting internal audits, track past shipments forensically to avoid those massive fines.
Exactly.
All right, let's wrap this up. We have an actionable compliance checklist for the week directly for you, the listener.
What's step 1?
Number 1, audit your design intent. Always check USML, Category 8, A5 first.
Number 2, review your payload. Investigate if an integrated sensor is secretly pulling your system into ITAR via the see-through rule.
And number 3, document your classification. Keep a formal written record justifying your chosen ECCN or USML path based on contemporaneous development documents.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, think about the rise of advanced software and AI in drones.
Right.
As software rather than physical hardware becomes the primary capability driver, how will design intent be judged?
That's a great question.
I mean, when a single over-the-air update or a few lines of code could theoretically pivot a commercial mapping drone into a tactical military asset overnight, how does the government regulate that?
The physical drone doesn't change, but the software crosses the regulatory border. It's a fascinating thought to leave you with.
It really is.
Keep your logistics tight and your compliance tighter. See you on the next deep dive.